Hey there, and welcome to Exercise 6 for the Pro Tools 110 ebook. Let's get started. Okay, as you can see on my screen, we are going to be working with media in our Exercise 6 folder. So let's look there. And again, as usual, if you do not have the Exercise 6 media files on your computer, you are going to have to download them to do this exercise. And if you have the Pro Tools ebook or regular book, there is a link right here that lists how to or where to download the media files for Exercise 6. Every chapter's exercise has a link to download if you don't have all of them on your computer already, which you should in the Documents folder. Okay, so get started. Launch Pro Tools, and we are going to open from disk. Okay, so I'm just sort of reading along here. So, Pro Tools, create new, and here's our dashboard. We are going to click the Open from Disk button right here. Okay. And now we're going to choose from the File menu. Let's see, navigate to the folder containing the exercises for this course and locate the Exercise 6 subfolder. Okay, so this is just another way to open. Exercise 6, Stressin'. This is in the 110 folder. Okay, so session for import, Stressin' session, files for import. So it looks like we're going to be importing a lot of stuff in this one. So we want to go into the Exercise 6 Stressin' subfolder. So Exercise 6 Stressin' session. Stressin' session folder, open it, and this is what we want to open up. Got it. Oops. Sorry, clicked on the wrong thing there. There we go. Okay, we encountered this last time. Sometimes it'll let us know this. That's okay. We'll set this to a playback engine that will support it, which in my case is the MacBook Pro speakers. Okay, so let's look. Now this is another thing. You notice that I opened the session and we're not seeing anything. Remember, Pro Tools remembers how you left the last session. So if you closed your edit window and your mix window, then you're not going to get a window to work with. So always keep that. So you have to actually go up to Window and select Mix or Edit to open it up. So in this case, actually, I needed to start it over again. So open from disk. There we go. I just needed to redo my playback engine. But every once in a while, when you open up a session and you don't see an edit window, you don't see anything, make sure you go to Window and choose Mix or Edit so the proper window opens up. Okay, so what do they say here? Well, first, save as. Let's do that. File, save as. And always, by default, it will save it in the session folder that you open it from. That's good. That's what we want. Okay. So you've got a few tracks, but the session is clearly incomplete. Let's assume that you have a colleague that's been working on a different session that includes the tracks you need. So this is this chapter. Part of this chapter is about collaboration through importing and exporting session data. So what you're looking at is session data. Session data is literally what has been done in a session. What clips are in here, where they're placed, what effects are on them, what inserts are there, what sends are there, all that stuff can be called session data. So if someone is working on another session and they've done stuff to that session, you're like, oh man, I wish I had that stuff in my session. You can do that. You can import what somebody did in a completely different session on a completely different computer, as long as it's Pro Tools, and import it into your session. And this is also how you import exported projects from Premiere and Media Composer. Premiere and Media Composer will let you export what's called AAF or OMF files, which is literally session data files that Pro Tools can read. So this is how you import such files. And this is something that your video editor should know how to do. But we'll talk about this in class a little bit too. Okay, from File, choose Import Session Data. All right, import. We've always imported audio. Maybe we've imported video. Now we're going to import session data. Okay, so what is it we're going to import? Well, let's find out. Navigate to the folder containing the exercises for the course and locate Exercise 6 Stress in subfolder. Within that folder, locate the Session for Import folder and open it. Double-click the Session for Import session file. So, again, this is a session that somebody else made, and we want to basically combine their session into our session. So we're going to import session data. So, Exercise 6, you should have a folder called Session for Import. Click on that, and there it is, Session for Import. Hit open and watch what happens. This window pops up. This window tells you everything you need to know about the session that was made that you are importing into your sessions. For example, up here, this was created by Pro Tools. The time code format was 30 frames per second. The audio bit depth looks like 24 and 32. So there's some files that have 24, some files that have 32, I guess. The audio sample rate is 48, and it is a WAV file project, as it should be. And as you can see down here, see where it says tracks. In the session we're importing, they made tracks. One track they made was called Piano, another one was called Bells, another one was called Pad 1, another one was called Pad 2, and so on and so on. Do we want to import Piano? If we don't, we click on this and just choose None. Do we want to import Piano on a brand new track? Yes, then we would choose New Track. Or do we want to import this piano track onto our drums track? Maybe we like how our drums track is set up and we want to import the piano track on top of it. You can do that. More often than not, you're going to be importing things as new tracks. But let's see what they tell us to do in the book. Oh, they're having us start at the top. I guess that's a good thing to do. So, not every aspect of... Okay. In the timecode mapping options section, in the upper right-hand corner of the dialog box, choose Maintain Relative Timecode Values. So right here. So someone might have been working at a different timecode than you. Someone might be working at the same timecode as you. This is where you change that information. So it looks like we want to maintain relative timecode values. Okay. In the audio media options, choose Copy from Source Media. Where is that? Audio media options. Here we go. Copy from Source Media. So as you can see, we have different options here. Do we want to link? Remember, if we link, it won't copy it to our audio files folder. If we copy from the source media, then it's going to see the source media in that other session folder and copy it into our session folder. This is always a smart move. So because remember, this is our session. We're importing from another session, but we're bringing stuff into our session. So we should also copy the media into our session audio files folder as well. So that's what this does. Copy from source media. Consolidate from source media. We're going to get to, if you read this chapter, you'll know what consolidation is. That would involve basically combining clips in the source media and in such a way to where if we wanted to, it would basically limit us to what we could do with the source media. It'll import it, it'll copy it, but it'll copy it with very defined in points and out points that we wouldn't be able to change. So I wouldn't consolidate. I would copy. Let's see what else they have here. Okay. In the track section, import all of the tracks as new track. Okay. So we have a piano track coming in. We want that to go on a new track. We have a bells track coming in. We want that to go on a new track. And instead of actually having to do this for each thing, you could just click on it. Watch. Click, click, click. And by default, it just chooses new track. Click. And then in the session data section, make sure none of the boxes are checked. Okay, here's session data. So if we wanted to import the other session's tempo, if we wanted to import the other session's markers, if we wanted to import their chord maps, you know, all sorts of music-based stuff, we could do that. But for this particular thing, we don't. So we're going to make sure they're unchecked. And in the main playlist options, click the Import Replace Existing Playlists radio button. Okay, I think that's, yeah, Import Replace Playlist button. So looks like they have playlists in there. We learned about playlists in the last chapter. We want to import those. If we didn't, we could just click on that. But if someone went to the trouble of making playlists, I would like to import them. Okay, in the track data to import dialog box, make sure that all boxes are checked except the two icon checkboxes near the bottom. Okay, so check this out. Track data to import. So, looks like everything's already done for us. But again, do we want to import the clip gain? Do we want to import clip effects? Do we want to import alternate playlists? Do we want to import the automation? Do we want to import their elastic audio work that they've done? Chances are yes, you will want to import this stuff. That's probably why you're importing this session, because you like the work that somebody else did on that session. You want to bring it into yours. But if you like aspects of another person's session, but say, you know what, I don't like what they did with the elastic audio. I don't like what they did with the automation. You could turn that stuff off, but chances are you're going to want all this stuff on. I don't really work with this icon stuff, so I always keep this unchecked anyway. Hit OK. And then click the import session data. It says the tracks will be imported into your session. Play your session to make sure you're hearing all the tracks. OK. Now that we've done all this, we hit OK. Let's watch what happens. Look at this. We began with these, and now we've got these as well. We have literally imported another session into our session. This is a very common thing people do. Sometimes maybe you'll be working on a soundtrack. You've got your ADR, you have your dialogue, you have your sound effects, music, and maybe someone has working literally just on room tone and ambience tracks. Well, you can import that person's session into your session. And as long as they are working on the same movie, you know, then your time codes should match up. And when you pop in that other person's session's tracks, it'll line up. And if it doesn't, well, it's in your session. So you can like move stuff around if you want. It's yours now. Okay. Just to organize things, drag the mix and master tracks to the bottom of the tracks list. Okay, a lot of times you'll do this and you'll have to rearrange some things. Remember, the master tracks should always be at the bottom. So, Option or Alt click any of the tracks to deselect. Now take the master, drag it down to the bottom, mix, drag it down just above the master. There we go, that's looking better. And as you can see, we have some aux tracks, verb, reverb, delay. Those usually go down to the bottom as well, above the mix and master tracks. Okay, what's next? Yes, it does look like that. Let's make sure. Yes, it does look like that picture. So let's move on to the next section. Searching and importing clips. Okay. Make sure that loop playback is enabled. Well, let's look to see if it is. Oh, they have this set up differently. That's nice. So here is my play button here. Play. And see, it's got the little loop around it. That's loop playback. If it's not enabled or it doesn't look like that, you can always go up to options, down to loop playback right here. Make sure it's checked. Just a little bit. There we go. Okay. So searching. So now we're on part 3, searching and importing clips. Make sure loop playback is enabled. Make a selection on your timeline for 52 to 54. Okay, so let's make sure grid mode is on because that makes it easier to select specific areas. And we want to go from 52 to 54. So here's my grid right here. And you can see that things are maybe arranged a little differently. This is how this session was set up. All these controls, normally the stop button, the play button, they're really big and in their own section. Here, they're kind of consolidated into this area. You can customize how you want this to look very easily. If you hold down Command or Control on PC and click, for example, on this little box right here, you can see a little line right here, a little line right here. I can put this over there. I could put this back over here. You could rearrange this any way you want. Just hold down Command or Control on PC and click on any of these sections if you want things to exist in a different area. Okay. 52 to 54. So let's zoom in a little bit. I'm going to hit T. And then let's see here. Scroll over to 52. Okay, here's 52. 52 to 54. And if you look up here where it says start and end, you can see it begins at 52, ends at 54. The length is 2 bars. Great. Okay. Start playback. From the window, then choose new workspace sound base. Ooh, this is going to be exciting. First, I want to make sure you guys can hear this. All right. Save it. All right. Hear that? That's the delay in the reverb. I love delay at reverb. It always kind of lingers a little bit. It's so cool. Okay. So they want us to play this on loop because looks like we're going to be auditioning some tracks using Soundbase and which is in our workspace, and we're going to be bringing them in. So start playback. Choose new workspace Soundbase, and in the locations pane, navigating to the folder containing the exercises for this course. Got it. Okay, hit play. New workspace, Soundbase. Say it's playing, and while it's playing, we can go ahead and look for stuff and play along with and audition these files along with it if we want. So we want to go to our session, which is this, right? Let's look. I'm guessing. In the locations pane, navigate to the folder containing the exercises for this course and locate the stress and subfolder and locate files for import and open it. Okay, so that would be in our, let's see here. That's not the exercise. We're looking for a different folder. So we need to find it. So go into volumes. And this, for me, this would be my documents folder. But we need to go find our session folder. Find your session folder wherever it is. It should be in your documents folder. And here we go. Stressing. And files for import. Click on that. Okay, now we're looking at the files that we're going to be importing. See, I click on this, I see those files. If I click on this, I see the files in that folder. If I click on this, I see the files in the files for import folder. Got it. Okay. So make sure conform to tempo is enabled. So up here, see this little button right here? This is the conform to tempo button. This makes it so whatever file I choose to import, it will change its tempo to match the session tempo. This is the tempo of the session. If I import something that's like this, it's not going to match. So, by having this button selected, like that, then whatever file I import, it will conform it to the session's tempo. Whether it's too fast or too slow, doesn't matter. It will make it work. Click the drums tag and then the tech house tag. You should see a list of 12 results. Okay, this is what Soundbase is. Soundbase is basically it's a sub part. It's a part of your workspace browser. So that lets you search by what we call tags. These tags are built into the sounds that you already have, but you can make whatever tags you want. If you have a bunch of files, for example, that are creepy, you can make tags. You just right-click on it, go into tags, and you can make a new tag called creepy. And now, if I search a tag that says creepy, it will search my hard drive for all audio files that say creepy and pick them out. Right now, there's just this one, so it would just be the one. So, what we're going to start easy with files that are already pre-tagged. So we're going to, and here are a bunch of tags that are already made for us. So we're going to click on the one that says drums. And as you can see, it is now only showing us files that have drums as part of their tags. And if we want to refine our search even more, we can click on Tech House. And now we're only seeing files that have drums and Tech House as part of their tags. Remember, tags are just descriptors. So if we listen to these, we would put these under the categories of drums and Tech House. Click the triangular button in the waveform column of different files to preview them. Okay, so now, see this right here? This is the play button. Let's hear how this sounds. And remember, it's going to conform, no matter what tempo this is, it's going to change it to what we're hearing now. Let's try this one. Try this one. Try this one. Let's try this one. Ooh, I like that one. So we're previewing them, and we're previewing them in the tempo that is the tempo of the session, which is cool. So, that remained to sound good, but let's choose DA123 laser drums, and then click and drag it into the tracks area of the edit window. Okay, so let's go over here. This is the one we're going to choose. Now, here's the tracks area. Is that what it's called? Tracks area. Oh, sorry, the tracks area of the edit window. When you do it this way, a new track will be created when you release the mouse. Don't worry about the position. We'll take care of that in a bit. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. So what they're asking us to do is to click on this, click on this, shift, and drag it. And as you can see, if I let it go, it will create a new track. There it is. And again, they said it doesn't matter as long as it's in there. We're going to reposition it later. Okay, so there's that. Now we're going to look for a bass hit. There's a potential problem. The song is in the key of D sharp, which isn't too common. We'll have to filter our results to find the right file. So let's clear the tags from the tag session. Okay. And then click the bass tag. Okay, let's go back into our workspace. Go down to workspace. There it is. Okay, these are our tags. But just click on these little X's and it clears them. We want to see everything again. There we go. See, we see everything again. Now let's find the things that have bass as a tag. There we go. Then, let's see what it says. In the advanced search, choose D sharp, E flat. Your search results will be reduced to 3 files. So if people took the time to it's hard to concentrate with music playing. If people took time to tag their music with the actual keys that the music were in, you could also search by key. So this is the key of D sharp. So remember, this is our search area, right? So if we click on advanced search, which is this little icon right there, the magnifying glass with the plus. Let's see what it says here. Okay, in the key row, choose D sharp, E flat. Got it. Okay, let's go back into this again. Okay. I don't do this very often. So this is sound bass. And this is advanced search. So this is the sound bass. This is advanced search. So we want to make sure they're both on. They are. So see here where it says key. Key is, we need something that's D sharp. So if you don't know music, that's fine. He tells you what to do in the book. But D sharp is D, and it's got a little hashtag, that means sharp. Click on that. Boom. Look, it just, so we are now looking at every file in this folder that has been tagged as a bass file, whose key is in D sharp, E flat. So there you go. Greatly reduced it, so we don't have to listen to hundreds and hundreds of files. So, preview the individual files. Let's take ENE bass hit 4. Oops. Let's see what that sounds like. I like it. Let's try this for fun. Ooh, I like that better. Oh, I like that even better! But they want us to do this one. That's fine. Okay, that's the one we're gonna choose. And as you can see, these are the tempos these were done in. But it doesn't matter because it's gonna conform to this session's tempo. Okay, click on that file name and drag it to the tracks list. A new track will be created with the clip at the beginning. So before, what we did was we took the track, right? Hold on a second. There we go. Before, what we did was we took the clip that we wanted, we shift dragged it into our session, right? Oh, we don't want to do that though. Ah, that's right. Don't do that. If you do that, delete it. There we go. And what that did was that dragged the clip directly into the session, and it made a new track, and it named it whatever that clip was named. Another way to drag something into a session but place the clip at the beginning is click on bass hit 4. No need to hold down shift. Click and hold and just drag it. Oh, come on. Click and hold and drag it to your tracks list. Drop it. And look what happens. It made a new track, and the clip is at the beginning. So if you drag it from the workspace into the tracks list, you get a new track, named after the clip, and the clip is at the beginning. If you shift drag from the workspace, then you can choose where you want the clip to go, and it still creates a new track, obviously. Okay, let's stop this, although I am digging it. That's cool. Okay, so, okay. Okay, stop playback. Let's assemble a basic part with these two clips. On the Lasers drums track, we'll place it at 52.1 and loop it until 101. Got it. So let's do that. So this right here, we can drag it to 52 and using our grabber tool, as we drag it, we can see where the start of the clip will be as we drag it around. We want it to start at 52. Boom, right there. Whew. Okay, so they want it to loop until, let's see, until 101. So, we learned this last time, right? You can you right click on it? Yes, you can right click on it, or while it's highlighted, go up to clip, loop. All right, there we go. So number of loops, we could do the math and figure that out. Loop length, how many beats or bars do we want to go? Well, we want it starting at 52 and we want it to go up to 101. So what is that? That's another 50. It's actually 49. So we want it, the loop length to be, let's just say 50. 50 bars. Okay. Boom. Look at that. And now let's see where it ends. It ends at 102. And we wanted it to end at 101. No problem. Take our trim tool and just trim it back to 101. Bingo. There we go. And another thing we could have done is go up to trim loop, and we could have just dragged it out. That would have been another way to do it too. So that's the cool thing about looping. Multiple ways to do it. Okay. Okay, so on the bass hit 4 track, place the clip at the following positions. You'll need to duplicate the clip. So there we go. So we wanted to start at 64. So why don't we go to this? This guy right here. Take the grabber, go into spot mode. Go into spot mode with the grabber. Click on this once. This is a quick way. We know where we want it to go. We want it to start at, see here, start 64. Hit OK. Boom. It now starts at, oops, let's put it back into grid mode. It now starts at 64. Pretty cool, huh? So now we need to duplicate it. So right click. Actually, hold on, I don't duplicate very often. Click. There it is. Edit. Edit. Duplicate. Look at that. Edit. Duplicate. Edit. Duplicate. So we want this one to be at 64. What do we want the other ones to be? 66, 68, 70, and then 86, 88. Okay, let's do 64, 66, 68, 70. Okay, so this is 64. This is 66. I'm sorry, this is 66. Yep. This is 68. This is 70. Great. Now let's duplicate it. Click on it. Edit. Duplicate. You can also hit Command D. There it is. And we want this next one, we go into spot mode. We want this next one to be 86. 86, 88, 90. So basically 86 to 96. So let's click on this. We want it to go to 86. Okay. Boom. It's now at 86. There it is. Get out of that grid mode. Make sure it's highlighted. Duplicate, 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 duplicate. So this one, let's see, this last one is supposed to be at 96. This one's supposed to be at 94. This is supposed to be at 92. This is supposed to be at 90. And this is supposed to be at 88. So there we go. Okay, the next step is optional. On the base 4, create a send that is assigned to the verb bus. Set the sends fader to unity. Okay, so I like that idea. So right here, this is our base track that we made, right? We have these inserts and we have these sends. If you don't see them, then click on your little ruler right here, right click on it, I mean, and choose medium. And that will make this track a medium width so you can see all this stuff. So it's saying, hey, why don't you send this to the reverb aux track to get this nice little reverb effect. Let's see what that reverb effect is. Deverb. Okay, great. So I will, on this track, click on the first send, bus, verb bus, and here is our fader for the reverb bus for this track. So this is being sent on the verb bus to the verb bus, which happens to be the input of a track called verb. Verb is just short for reverb. They'll make instead of the bass sounding like this, boom, it'll sound more like boom. It just makes it sound more expansive. I like that stuff, so I'll always choose reverb if they give me an option. So when we need to move this fader up to 0, otherwise known as unity, but a really quick way to do that is hit Option or Alt and click on the fader, and it just goes up there. So let's hear how this sounds. Right here. That wow, how it kind of wow, that little bit, that's the reverb you're hearing. Super cool. And you can see the level of the effect in the meter. Super cool. Okay. Man. How much more do we have to go? Oh, only a couple more pages. Only a couple more pages. Capturing and exporting. Okay. Exporting clips is easily done, but in many workflows, it's detailed work. In this scenario, we'll export clips in very specific ways. The first step is to capture the 3 different sounds from the effect track, but our client gave us a specific requirement. They must all be 1 second long. What a weirdo. Okay. So we're going to change the main time scale to minutes and seconds and change our grid value to 1 second. Got it. So when someone gives you notes that are based in time code or minutes and seconds, you should always change your time scale to match that. That's why we have sub counters as well, because then we don't have to do that as much. But we're going to follow the directions and do what they say. So there it is. Minutes and seconds. There we go. Okay, and here's our grid. Ooh, wait, let's get this thing out of the way. There we go. Here's our grid. We want the grid on, and we want it to be 1 second, because we're going to choose something that is 1 second in length. Okay, so resize the height of the effect track so you could see it clearly, and zoom in so you could see about 4 seconds on the timeline. Then scroll so you see the first sound effect at 1:36. Okay, so here's our time base, minutes and seconds. We want to go back to 1:36. So let's just type in 1:36, and we'll just go right there. And then we have this effect track right here. So let's click on it. Right click on the little ruler right here. Make it large. Okay, so this is the effect that we're seeing. Let's see what it sounds like. So it's like a little electricity sound. That's pretty cool. And the reason it's lingering is because it's delay and reverb. Delay goes boom, boom, boom. It adds a delay to the sound that's already there, basically repeating it. And then reverb gives it sort of ominence, you know, makes it sound big or makes it sound small. So, so the first sound effect is at 136. Is it though? This is the first sound. This is the sound effect right here. Let me scroll ahead to see what they're doing. I disagree with this. Yeah, that's kind of weird that they say it's at 136 because this sound effect is specifically at 144. So even though the book says 136, we can visually see on the effect track that the sound effect is at 144. So we're going to stick with what we see. So we're going to select from 136 to 137. Nope. We are going to select from 145. Let's see here. We're going to select from 144 to 146. This effect that they're talking about is at a different spot, as you can see, and it's actually at the 145 mark, and it's actually in the middle of the 145 mark. So we're going to actually make a 2-second capture, not a 1-second capture. So click right here, which is, as you can see, 144 with the selector tool. Click, hold, and drag. 1 second, 2 seconds. Again, 1, 2. Because our grid is set to 1 second. So we are confirmed that this is a 2-second selection. So now, let's see here. Capture the clip capture, and name it FX1. Got it. So, clip, capture, and we're going to call it FX1. Hit OK, and watch what happens. It made a new clip in our window right there. It didn't take it out. It basically just made a copy of it the way it is set up in our session. So remember, we can click on it, and if you hold down Option and click it in our clip window, we can audition it. There you go. So that is our effect. So capturing is a good way to take little snippets of something and make quick copies of it as actual clips that exist in our clip window that we can then take and place elsewhere, as you could see, in our session. So it's kind of cool. Okay, now switch your edit mode to slip mode. Got it. Holding Option, click either timeline selection in point or timeline selection out point and drag to the right until you get to the next sound on that track. Okay. What are they talking about? And drag to the right until you get to the next sound on the track. Got it. Okay. So let's zoom out a little bit. Here is our next one. So let's zoom in on that. I'll just zoom out and find it and then zoom in again. To me, that's easier than what they're suggesting. So we're in slip mode now. So as you can see, we are not married to the grid. I can choose wherever I want, and I'm not snapping to any grid lines. So let's see here. Position the selected area so that it starts when the sound begins. Okay, still holding Option. Position the selected area. Oh, I see. Okay, I see why they did it like that. Interesting. See, that's what happens when you jump ahead. with your own ideas. Let's go back to the original one. Sorry about that. One. There we go. So let us go into grid mode, select this little guy right there. Got it. Now we're going to go into slip mode. Now let's zoom out a little bit. Now hold down Option. Let's see what it says here. All right. So up here, this is our timeline selection, in point and out point. So it says choose one of them, Option or Alt on Windows, click, and look what happened. It's dragging our selection. Oh, this is pretty cool. And we're going to go to the next sound effect, which is right there. And so if you have something highlighted and you know that that is the selection length you want to work with, you could go up to your timeline selection arrows, Option click, and move your selection to another area in the session. There we go. So then what are we doing? We are going to name this FX2. I see. So they want specific in this case I'm making it 2-second captures. Pretty cool. Clip, capture. We'll call this FX2. And as you can see, now we have another one. And then got it. So let's zoom in a little more. Here's our timeline. So hover it to where we are over the timeline selection out point, hold down Option or Alt on Windows, click, hold, and drag. Drag it over here. Here's our third sound effect. We want to drag it to where it starts, which is about right there. And then clip, capture, FX3. And now we have captured 3 specific sounds from one specific clip that are each the exact same length because we chose a certain length and then we Option dragged that selection to the other things that we wanted to capture. Pretty cool. Okay. Woo! Now let's export. We're almost done. Now we need to export the newly captured FX clips as new files. So in the clips list, select FX1, 2, and 3, and then right-click a selected clip and choose Export Clips as Files. So what we've done is we have made clips, but they're clips that just exist in the session, right? If we go into our actual session folder, which is this, we don't see FX1, 2, or 3 in here, do we? We've captured them, but they only exist within this session. If I wanted to bring these actual sounds that I've captured to another computer, they would actually have to be files. So that is what we're going to do next. 1, 2, 3. Hold on a second. Nope, it always does this. There we go. Okay. Oh, looks like I have a department meeting. Good to know. Okay, so then we've selected these 3 clips. Right-click on any of them. Export clips as files. Now, when I do that, then they will be actual files that will exist on the hard drive as their own things that I can take to another computer or whatever. Right now, these captured clips, I can't do that. They only exist within this session. That's why we're exporting them as files. Okay. The other cool thing about this is, do we want to change the bit depth? Do we want to change the sample rate? Maybe I know the session that I want to use these in on another computer is a 48 kilohertz sample rate session that's 32-bit. There you go. This is what exporting can do. When you capture, you can't change this stuff. You're literally just copying however it is in the session and putting it in your clips list. But then when you export them as files, you can convert them as well. So let's see what they want us to do. We want it to be wave, interleave, 16-bit, 44.1. Wave, interleaved, 16-bit, 44.1. This enforce Avid compatibility. I never really check it, but I guess if you're going to be bringing things in a Media Composer, it puts something a little bit extra in the wrapper that makes it easier to import. But these days, Media Composer and Pro Tools, as long as they're WAV files, it's no problem. There's other reasons to do that too, but that's for the Media Composer people. So, choose the button in the browser window that appears. Locate the exercise 6 folder. Create a folder named Sound Effect Export. Okay, so, okay, here we go. Destination directory. Choose. So, let's go into exercise 6 stressing. Make a new folder. Sound Effect Exports. Okay, hit open. So now it's going to go in there. And these aren't duplicate file names, so that's not a problem. Hit export. It's super quick because they're each 2 seconds long. Now let's go into that folder. Oh, look, exercise 6 stressing. Oh, look, sound effect exports. Oh, look, 1, 2, 3. Jeez. There we go. So that is what we just did. Super fun. I love it. See, 110 gets into more fun stuff. I really like it. So that's it for exercise 6. So what I would like to do is have you make sure you export your session. I'm sorry, make sure you take a picture of this. But what I want to see is a picture of your edit window. What I would do is shrink all of your tracks to, was that small? Yeah, shrink them all to small so I could see that you actually did import all the tracks. And make sure I see your clips list because I want to see FX1, 2, and 3. Take a picture of that. Make sure the edit window and the clips list and the tracks actually. Let me do that again. I want to see your tracks, your edit, and your clips list all there. And email that to me and you are good. And that's exercise 6.